Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best MLB-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel, brought to you in part by our friends over at Mint Mobile. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, all sorts of good stuff. Sitting over here is Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing?
You know, it's an embarrassment of riches weekend. You got Black Adam in theaters. You got Hot D, the end of that first season, triumphantly, and hopefully maybe the Seahawks will win.
I mean, that's what we're all really hoping for, is the Seahawks win. Also joining us over here, joining you guys in the live chat is Ray Ora. Ray, how you doing?
Hey, I started a series last night, the Bend 'em like Wrexham or something.
The Bend It Like Wrexham.
Bend it like Wrexham.
Welcome to Wrexham.
Welcome to Wrexham.
What do you think?
You know, documentaries and being about sports, like a real sports team, I'm in it. The first episode was really good. I really
love it.
The pyramid thing of the way the league is set.
Yes.
That is the craziest concept. If only all sports were like that.
I've been saying for a long time, I totally think all professional sports should have that sort of a system of a league. Anyway, also joining us, of course, running the show today, Jonathan Voico. Jonathan, how you doing?
Doing okay, but I can't believe it's Friday already. These weeks are going by like days.
I know, it's crazy. And right behind you can see Taylor back there.
Hello.
And of course, Alu Milano is Milano. I had Alyssa Milano on my
Alyssa
brain.
Milano, our new host.
Alu Milano joining us today. Alu, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
We're doing very well, thank you. And most importantly, you guys are here joining us. Thank you so much for joining us and making this show part of your day. Here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it into two parts. First half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. How does that happen? Number one, you got to be watching live. Number two, when we get to the end of the main topics, we'll announce that we're opening up the super chats. And once we do, that will be your time to fire in your thoughts, theories, questions, and opinions, and we will address those in the second half of the show. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget, guys, that we have an audio-only version of our show, simply called the John Campea Show Podcast. Just jump on your favorite podcasting app of choice and subscribe to it today. We also have another podcast feed, of course, for after show, where we do our after show for things like House of the Dragon and Andor, of course. So make sure you guys are subscribed to that as well. And also just let you guys know, a little bit later today at around 3 o'clock Los Angeles time, we're going to be doing an open mic. That's just a more casual version of the show where all we do is take your live comments and questions. So come on back and join us for that. All right. With all that down and out of the way, let's get to an off the top, and that is this. You know, this weekend, Rob, you were just alluding to it. This weekend is pretty big. Not only do we have Black Adam opening in theaters, which we will talk about a lot today, as a matter of fact, but we have the season 1 finale of House of the Dragon. This show has simply been far better than I expected. And I thought it would be good. I mean, I thought it would be good. They had a lot of the original people behind the scenes from the Game of Thrones series coming over. They had a terrific job in casting and all that kind of stuff. So I had some pretty good confidence that we were going to see this be at least pretty good. It has shattered every expectation that I've had. It has by far blown away any amount of any business it had being this good. I mean, it's been utterly fantastic. I love this show. It's incredible. But we're heading into the finale now, which really sucks. That we're going to have to probably wait
a year
or two before we get season 2 of this thing and get to go back to Westeros. But building into this finale, a lot of people have been asking for like predictions and stuff. And I generally don't like to do predicting. I just like to see what the showrunners or the filmmakers have to show us. But the folks over at Yahoo Entertainment, they actually put up a pretty good article. It's a very simple article. 10 burning House of Dragon questions ahead of the finale. And they actually are asking the questions we're all asking. So I thought we would take a second here, Rob, and go through these 10 questions they have, and let's see what they have. So the first one that they have, the first question they're asking is Corlys okay? And of course, we're talking about the sea snake. I love that character. I don't think this character is going to just suddenly die, or else we would have seen him die already. He's still around. I think he's still going to have an important role. So I think we're going to see him again in the finale. What do you think?
Absolutely. 100%.
Who is that one again? He used to be the main
Rhaenys' husband.
The sea snake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Got it.
All right.
The man with the most badass dreads in Westeros.
He's got the best
back.
hair.
He's coming back.
All right. So there's that one. The second question they ask, what is Helena's deal? Talking about Alicent's least mentioned and least screen timed child she has had a couple of very revealing moments. The one episode, she's prophetic. I wonder if she's like a one-eyed raven in waiting. I mean, I don't know, but like she says in the one episode about she alludes that her brother's going to lose an eye. And then earlier she said there are beasts under the boards. And then what happens later in the show? Dragon comes bursting up out of the floor. I'm not saying that's directly connected, but she's weird enough that there's obvious importance here. What do you think they're going to end up doing with her?
Well, I think she's going to continue to be prophetic. And, you know, what's interesting too, I mean, I know I haven't read the book, but I know things about it. And they're not staying necessarily on page to be exactly what happened in the book, because in the book, they make a point of saying that these accounts are suspect.
Right.
You know, they're written by different maesters from different points of view. And they've changed things around, I think, for the better. I think this show is better, from what I understand, than what was originally in the books. They've made it more grounded, more down to earth, and sometimes more exciting. And from what I understand, her prophecies were not leaned into. And I think the show is leaning into them. And I think they're using her, like if you're paying attention, she's always saying things that are going to happen that aren't necessarily good.
Right.
You know, I mean, I guess they're good for an era, you know, I guess, but she's just flat out stating stuff. I think if she's on, and I suspect she would be, if she's on Sunday's episode, I'm going to listen very carefully to what she has to say.
All right, let's get on to the next one. The next one they're asking, and this is one that I have my doubts about, but is Misery or Miseria, is she alive or is she dead? Of course, we saw that her house was being burned. We saw somebody was up in the window burning, but you know, the rule of television, unless you see them die, you got to question where they're dead. I don't think she's dead. What was the name of the Game of Thrones character? The bald monk dude who was best friends with Tyrion? That was friends with Tyrion? Yeah, what was that?
The monk.
The monk, the eunuch.
The eunuch is
not Viserys.
Varys.
Varys, that's right. So she's kind of like this world's version of Varys.
Yeah.
She's the one with the little birds and the little spies and all kinds of stuff. I think it's going to end up she's alive. I think we would have seen her die, but I don't know. Guesses on whether she's alive.
100%, because she's carrying that torch for Daemon.
All right. Next question that they bring up for the final episode is, who's going to die? Now, I don't know anything about the books. I've purposely tried to stay away from any information about the books. So just on a guess, I'm going to guess, and understand that they can do different things with the shows than they have done in the books. I don't think anybody significant is going to die in the finale other than possibly Otto. I could see Otto dying in the finale, but I don't see them killing Alicent. I know they don't kill. I don't know. I'm saying, but I'm pretty positive they won't kill Rhaenyra. I don't think they're going to kill Daemon. So I'm going to guess Otto. If I had to put my money on anybody, I'm going to say Otto. Do you have any wild guesses?
I think I should refrain from answering.
Okay,
this
just because
question.
you have read.
But I will say
stuff,
this: if people are dispatched to Storm's End, that's all I'm saying.
All right.
I'll also say it'll probably be a 2-for-1 special. If they kill Damon, they're really killing me, and
I was gonna say, if they kill
I will
Daemon,
stop watching.
you're out.
They're not going to kill Daemon.
Okay.
I highly
I'm just
doubt they're
saying, if
gonna
it's
kill
Storm's
Daemon.
End and they're going to see, I think the Baratheons, just watch closely.
All right. Next one. And this is my primary question coming out of the last episode. Have we seen the last of Lenore Valerian? Of course, Rhaenyra's quote unquote husband, who is quote unquote dead, but he's not dead, obviously. I believe, although I have nothing to base this on, I said this after the last episode, that once Rhaenys gets to Rhaenyra and lets her know what's going on and all this kind of stuff, I think there's going to be a scene where she finally breaks, where Rhaenys finally breaks, and just all the loss that this woman has suffered just in this one freaking season is going to come pouring out. And I think there's going to be a moment where Rhaenyra looks at Daemon. Daemon is leaning against a wall and just quietly nods his head, and she'll let her know that her son lives. I think she finds out her son lives. I don't know if we see him, but I think she finds out her son lives. What do you think?
From what I understand, I think it's what they did with him is different than the book. I think they're holding him in reserve because, in this way, he talks about how he wanted to redeem himself. I think they're going to give him a chance to redeem himself either in battle or he's going to come back at a pivotal moment and cause the tide to turn in some way.
All right.
They're going to give him a triumphant moment.
Let's not forget he's a dragon rider.
I know, and that's why I think they need him.
All right.
He's going to
Question
Millennium
number
Falcon
6
that stuff.
that they bring up is, will Kristen Cole snap? I think, that to me is the dumbest question on this list, because he clearly already has, to a degree. Like, he snapped, what was it, 16 years earlier, when he tried to get Rhaenyra to marry him and she said no. I think at that moment he snapped, and I think he's just been a living dipshit ever since.
Yeah,
So,
he snapped into a dickhead.
yeah,
for sure.
I want, like,
Snapped
there's
into
two characters I really want to die. Kristen and Nate on Ted Lasso. Those two characters have to die horrible, horrible, horrible deaths. All right. So the 7th question they raise is a great one. Will we see Rhaenyra and Alicent reconcile?
How?
I don't think so.
No way.
It's just too impossible. I think there was obviously an opportunity for that to happen.
Hell
But then
hath
Viserys
no
had to
fury.
die.
I would love it, but this is Game of Thrones, I guess. That doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, man. I want to see the true fury of mothers unleashed.
I mean, there is a possibility, however unlikely, that we've already seen Alicent while she loves him, she has a fairly low opinion of her son. And I wonder if what they could do with the show is take a left turn and actually maybe even have Alicent defect. Because we've seen she is not hot on her dad right now. She's not hot on her own kid.
And they're really playing into her always depending on males in order to...
Yes. So I wonder if some point
they're
she's going to
digging
do her
into
own
that
thing.
really hard with her. So,
Yeah, the whole Rhaenys conversation with her, right? It's like, you're just, everything about you, every stage of your life is about which man are you serving. And so I wonder if in the show they could take a little bit of a left turn and maybe have her join Rhaenyra's side.
that'd be great.
Again, it would be totally contrary to a lot of what the standard wisdom is, but they could do it. And I, for one, as a viewer, would love that.
I would love it too.
I don't think they're going to do it, but I think the option's on the table.
Rob
All right.
hates women. That's why he doesn't love
The 8th question is,
Why would you say that?
the 8th question. You talk big for a guy who showed up 10 minutes late today. All right. The 8th question. Where does the North stand? Because remember, I mean, the Starks, I don't remember if a Stark was in that room when Otto gathered everybody and says, all right, who's declaring your loyalty to Aegon? You're not? Okay, you're going to be shown out to the wall. Like, I don't know if a Stark was there.
There was a Stark there when
In the initial
Rhaenyra,
pledging allegiance to
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, yeah. But I don't think, I guess he's still up in the North. So it will be interesting to see where the North stands on that.
Yeah.
well, the North remembers.
Then they ask, will the other shoe ever drop for Larys? I don't know what they mean by that, but basically for me, the question becomes, what's going to happen with Larys?
He's going to die. He's too, I don't know when or where, he's too flamboyant about his evil, devious ways. You know, as we know from Game of Thrones characters, if you're going to be a schemer in Westeros, you don't flaunt it because no one can trust you. I mean, he's already done things. Well, if you want me to kill my own father and my own brother, I'll do that for you. Okay, you do that. I will never trust you again because you're willing to go further than I would ever want you to go. And once you've done it, you're like, hey, look at me. Every good criminal knows that guy needs a bullet in his head.
See,
they
for
don't have
me,
guns in Westeros.
The line for me saying, I don't think I can ever trust you, is when you jerk off to my feet. I think for me, that's the line
because
that
that's
I go,
honest. You're being
I can't
honest about your
trust you.
fetish.
Yeah, at least you're honest about your fetish.
But
why
no,
I
that
kept my
guy,
job all these
that
years.
guy is he's too ambitious
done
and he's
that.
too willing to
Never
kill
will.
people and he likes doing it. He's got to go. I can't wait. I think Alicent is going to get one over on him. Alicent's tired of his shit, doesn't trust him as far as she can throw him. And once you let somebody jerk off to your feet in the same room where it's out in the open, as soon as he can die, he will die. And she'll say he killed his own brother and his own.
But if you're an Otto or even an Alicent, you can't deny that dude has his uses. Because if you want something unsavory done, apparently he's the guy who'll get it done for you. I mean, I don't want him around, but I mean, whatever. Okay, so it's an interesting question what they're going to do with
But
Larys.
he's only doing it. He's doing because he's a sniveling. He's trying to curry favor.
He's
What's
playing the game
interesting-
like everybody else.
What's interesting about him versus Littlefinger is Littlefinger actually had his eyes on the Iron Throne. I don't think this guy has his eyes on the Iron Throne.
I don't think I think he knows that can't be, but he can get a very high position of power.
Sure.
I mean, he's already got his own whatever they called.
Oh, I think he'd like to be hand.
The
for sure.
strong, whatever area of the land that the Strongs ruled, he's got that now, so he's the lord of that.
Heron Hulk.
Yeah, middle finger's done well for himself. All right, and then the last question is, and this is one I was asking a lot: why didn't Viserys have a will? I mean, just very clear, straightforward. Here's my will. No midnight chats, needed. But then again, Otto would have found it and tore it up.
Yeah. Do they have wills in Westeros? Can you write a will?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think it's a good idea.
I do too. Estate planning it's never too early.
Do you know my first?
There was a will in Game of Thrones. Remember, now that I think about it, and God, what's her name? She became queen.
Cersei?
Cersei tore it. Remember, she was like, "Oh, there's this will," and she tears it. And,
Okay, so there you go.
she's like, "I'm the will. I say what it is."
Yeah, I mean, there it is. Anyway, guys, question is for you. House of the Dragon comes to an end this weekend, which really sucks. I'm very excited to watch it, excited to talk about it on Monday. But what are your big predictions for things coming? What are some of your dark horse predictions? Like, don't give me anything obvious. Like, I think we're going to see dragons fight. Okay, okay. Bravo. Well done. No, what are some of your dark horse predictions about things you might think actually happen, but maybe nobody else will see coming? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's keep moving on here. So, Alu, what do we got up next?
Next up is our Mint Mobile Hotline question of the day. To have your voice heard on the show and your question answered, what you're going to do is call this number, 951-268-4259. Our Mint Mobile question of the day comes from Gavin, who's asking about the new Disney film, Strange World.
Hey guys, this is Gavin. So I work at a local Cinemark, and I was checking the upcoming releases for next month, and I completely forgot that Disney has a new animated film, Strange World, coming out next month. So the marketing has done nothing to keep it in my radar, and I'm worried that I'm not the only one. Do you guys think Strange World will be a runaway success like Encanto was last year, or will we see a repeat of Lightyear? Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in. And that is, when you sent that in and I heard that message, I was like, oh my God, you're right. I totally forgot that there was this isn't like A24 that can have like some little movie kind of sneak into theaters and some be great and some do very well. No, this is Disney Animation. And they have, how many movies do they put out? Not a lot every year. So we've got this movie coming out called Strange World. It's literally coming out in 1 month. It's 4 weeks away. Maybe a month and 2 days, whatever. It's basically 4 weeks away. And nobody remembers this movie. Nobody has remembered this movie's even coming out. I remember they showed us this big presentation for it at CinemaCon. By the way, I think this year's CinemaCon is going to be banger.
Oh, it is.
But I think, at CinemaCon this past April, they showed us a big presentation. And I remember going, like, me, I'm a big Disney animation fan. I love Pixar, Disney animation. But I'm like, this doesn't look remotely good or remotely interesting. Like, I get it's just this weird, fantastical thing. Now, to be fair, I didn't think WALL-E looked very good. I thought, well, this looks dumb. And I love WALL-E, but so maybe that'll be the case here. But they have done squat diddly shit to promote this movie. Like nothing. And nobody is talking about it. And when I say nobody, I mean nobody. When I heard that phone message, I did a quick search, because you guys send in topics for the show. I wasn't able to find in the last 4 months anybody writing a question about Strange World. Other than there was a couple that came in the day that they did drop a trailer a while ago, but that was it. Nothing else. And so it leaves me scratching my head about what is Disney doing? Because normally Disney is very good at putting their upcoming projects right into our faces. And that's what marketing is. And so I'm sitting here wondering, do they not have faith in this movie? If that's the case, why not just dump it on Disney Plus, make it a Disney Plus exclusive, which, by the way, I won't be shocked to find out. Bookmark this video. I will not be shocked to find out in the next 2 to 3 weeks if they say, big surprise for all of our Disney Plus, you're going to get exclusive thing to straight. I wouldn't be doubt at all at this point they do that. But I'm not predicting. I'm just saying I won't be surprised at all. But I think we are heading for something like a Lightyear situation. Now, the funny thing is, Encanto didn't make, I don't know if it made even more money. I think they made roughly the same. I think Encanto made 250 something million and Lightyear made 220 something million. So it's not like they were all that far off. It's not like Encanto was a huge smash hit and Lightyear was a big flop. But we had much, much bigger expectations out of Lightyear, right? Listen, if things stay the course as they are, and this is getting released theatrically, and they don't just dump this thing on Disney Plus, I don't see anybody going to see this thing. I don't think it makes Buzz Lightyear numbers. I mean, listen, you could always have, like any movie, a big word of mouth campaign that maybe everybody, this is a little movie that surprises everybody and everybody loves it and everybody goes to see it, and it turns into like a Top Gun situation. That's possible, but right now with the information we have at hand, I don't think things are looking good for this. Rob, did you even remember this movie was coming out, and what are your expectations for it?
To be honest, I didn't until I saw the full-length trailer maybe 3 weeks ago, and I thought it looked good. I would ask you, 20 years ago, Disney put out Atlantis. Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. I mean, you know you're
gem.
Disney, but nobody remembers that movie.
This poster's dope.
It didn't. But this, this kind of has like that Jules Verne Journey to the Center of the Earth.
That's
kind
totally what they're going for.
Yeah,
right?
it had that vibe, but I didn't realize it was that kind of thing. So I watched the trailer. I'm like, I'll watch this because it just appeals to my sense of adventure. I really had high hopes. The company I was working for at the time, we were doing the big 2-disc special edition for Atlantis. It didn't do very good business. And I looked at this and I'm like, is this going to be the next Atlantis? But I hope not, because I mean, it's just the kind of story appealed to me. It looks good to me.
All right. Well, look, we literally have a girl in the room named Moana. So I know you're a big Disney girl.
Yes.
Where's your anticipation level like right now for this?
Yeah, I agree with Rob. I don't think about this movie until I see the trailer, and then I'm like, this looks really good, and then I go think about something else. But when it's in my face, I'm like, hey, I'll go see this. So I'm very surprised that Disney hasn't put this a little bit more in our faces, because it looks good. The animation looks great cast, everything. I'm just surprised they're not giving it the Encanto treatment where it's just everywhere.
Which makes me ask why.
Yeah.
Like you always give your movies a good push. Why not this one?
I have to say that like Encanto was kind of more of a timeless fairy tale, more along the lines of what Disney. This looks like a very specific kind of sci-fi adventure thing that I think they've realized that when they made it, maybe the audience is not as broad-based as a lot of their other films. Like it was interesting. I when I went and saw Coco, or when I didn't see Coco in the theater, I bought it. I bought the disc and watched it. I loved it. I thought Coco,
and that's another one I didn't think looked very good. But
I know.
It's magical. I love that movie.
It is so good. And I think that maybe that Disney, I don't know why I brought up Coco. It was not part of the point I was trying to make. I just think that this movie they might have just decided that this has a more limited audience than our normal bill of fare.
Maybe, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Have you been keenly aware that Strange World is imminently coming out soon? Have you also forgotten completely about it? Maybe you never heard about it at all. Why don't you think they're doing more of a marketing push on it right now? Maybe you think they're just saving till the last couple of weeks. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. Before we get into our main topics here today, we're going to take a second to thank one of the sponsors of our show. I love these guys, the folks at MasterClass. Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, MasterClass. You guys know we have been sponsored by MasterClass, and we love them here at the John Campea Show for giving us in-depth information on a wide variety of topics from the world's best experts. With MasterClass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. You can learn the art of filmmaking from James Cameron, improve your cooking skills from Gordon Ramsay, or learn how to make compelling YouTube videos from Marquise Brownlee. With over 150 classes from a range of world world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. I was recently watching through the independent filmmaking course by Spike Lee, and I found it fascinating that not only did he cover the broader topics like working with actors, but he also gets into finer details like working with a cinematographer and how to properly audition a DP for your project. It was fascinating. So guys, I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every class, and as a John Campea Show listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea now. That's masterclass.com/Campea for 15% off Masterclass. And thank you to our friends at MasterClass for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Remember, guys, when you support our sponsors, you're actually supporting us. So go down to the description of this video, and right at the top of the description, you'll find links and promo codes to all of our sponsors. And again, thank you to MasterClass. All right. During off-air, Ray pointed something out. They said on IMDb, they're listing Strange World as being Disney+. Now, I hadn't heard...
It says VOD, so maybe at the same time you have to pay for it. I don't know.
Maybe once it becomes available. I'm not really sure. But by showcasing it at CinemaCon, that meant it was going to the theater. So I don't know
you're right.
I don't know if they
Completely
changed their direction on that, but we'll find out.
Disney Plus has done where you have to pay-per-view it on
That's what I think.
They have, but that did not go over well with their subscribers.
Yeah,
so
why are we subscribing?
I don't know if they're going to do that again. We'll find out. All right, guys. With that all down, let's move into our main topics here, shall we? And how do we select our main topics on the show? Well, that's simple. You guys come up with our main topics. See, this is where we need you. Whenever you guys come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we absolutely should cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Alou, what is our first main topic today?
All right, main topic number 1 comes to us from Jared M. Jared says, I saw a new social media spot for Black Adam, which I'm going to see later tonight, and they straight up revealed Superman. It's a text message thread showing the two heroes talking. I know everyone already knew Superman had a cameo in the movie, but I didn't think they'd straight up reveal it in the marketing. What do you think about their move?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Jared. And yeah, listen, it has been, you can't even call it the worst kept secret. Of course, talking about Henry Cavill appearing as Superman and Black Adam. You can't even call it the worst kept secret because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has literally been going on talk shows talking about it. He hasn't said the name Henry Cavill, but everybody knew who he was talking about. Well, now they are literally in a lot of their online campaigning now. They're just straight up revealing that Superman is in it. And actually, if you scroll down a little bit on that one there, Jonathan, on that page that you have, you'll see that they actually have their social media, the reveal that's right about, there it is.
Right here?
Oh.
Yeah. So this is actually from the DC official social media. And when you pay it, you see it's Superman talking, then The Rock puts 3 green stones. The joke in it is Superman writes back and says, "What's that?" He says, "It's another rock that can kick your ass." Which I thought
it was cute.
that was funny.
Yeah,
that wasn't cute. That
was
was funny.
funny.
That was really funny. So, and then he says his line from the movie Black Adam, "We have to talk." So they're straight up revealing it now. Look, I think that the initial plan was probably to have Henry Cavill be a surprise.
Yep.
I think that was probably the initial plan, that when people see this post-credit scene, boom, bang, bonkers, right? People are going to go crazy. That was probably the initial plan. Okay, we'll keep it under wraps. We'll keep it quiet. I think as they started getting to about 2 months outside of when the movie was opening, I think they realized the tracking numbers, while not bad, were not as good as they were hoping it would be. And I think I don't think it's a coincidence that's right around there is about the time that you started to see The Rock dropping more and more hints and then basically coming out and saying it on Fallon, is because they needed another hook to draw attention to the movie. And I think that was probably the plan. So at this point, I'm not surprised that their marketing is just straight up saying it. Also, you got to remember that theoretically speaking, while this social media ad dropped yesterday, officially that is when the movie came out, was yesterday. And they just probably figured the whole world knows about it already. And with people coming out of the theaters, that's just going to be confirmed. We might as well lean into it and take advantage of it from a marketing perspective. Because remember, when the theatrical version of Justice League came out, they did not put Superman in their marketing. And they suffered for it. And as soon as the movie came out, they immediately changed course and started ramping out Superman being in. So I think they didn't want to make the same mistake. So Rob, my basic feeling is it probably wasn't the original plan, but a couple months out, they clearly changed direction they were talking about. Were you surprised to see that their marketing now is just explicitly mentioning Superman?
No, because they've come out and they've flat out laid out their plan. How this was just the beginning, and the whole plan was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, "I want to make a Superman versus Black Adam movie," and not only that, I went back and dude, his producing partner was talking about doing a Kingdom Come movie back in 2019.
Yeah,
Flat out talking about all this, and so why not? Why not? This movie was terribly marketed. We've talked about the trailers not being good. I think they should have leaned into the history of Black Adam and shown that.
Let's not get into reviewing the movie at this point.
No, but I just mean that it was badly marketed, and they could have done, and this kind of social media, this taking a page from Deadpool, doing kind of some fun social media stuff. They should have done more for that. What I meant was to say was like, people don't know who Black Adam is. And I think by getting into it, by getting into his historical perspective, like, who is he? And they could have leaned into that in the marketing. So, because most of the audience is like, Black Adam, well, if you told people literally in the market 5,000 years ago, he was this guy, whatever. And
He was this guy. That should say exactly
give them
that.
some reason, give people reason to know, like, oh, I want to see who this character is and what's he going to do when he gets here. They didn't do any of that. And I thought that this piece of viral marketing was actually fun. They could have made it fun. They could
probably should have come out 3 weeks ago.
That's what I mean. 100%. And they could have been telling you, because even the trailers doesn't, if you're casual, like, I always go back to my mom. My mom knows who Superman is. Really? Superman's in a new movie? My 83-year-old mom. I say, Mom, Black Adam's coming out. What? My mom doesn't know.
Do you guys see this? Them doing this, like if someone was on the fence to actually push them to go see it.
Yes, I think there will be some people.
Yeah,
it's not a huge mark, but there are going to be some, because let's face it, if you're really interested in Superman, you're probably going to go see a Black Adam movie anyway. But I do think there are going to be some people that are on the fence that hearing that Henry Cavill is going to be Superman will be in there. Now, this a question that I've heard a bunch of. And one of our regular viewers, Angel Feliciano, asked in the live chat, they're asking, why didn't they just give Superman an actual role in the movie? Well, the answer to that question is because when they made Black Adam, Warner Brothers was under ownership that was done with Henry Cavill as Superman. Remember, the old regime at Warner Brothers, they were done. They were putting Henry Cavill Superman behind them. They were moving on, even though Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson argued with them and begged them and pleaded with them to let him put Henry Cavill Superman in. The old regime said no. So forget just cameo. Like, forget about putting him in as a regular role in the movie. They weren't even going to let him cameo. They were done. So it wasn't until after the movie was shot and then the new ownership of Warner Brothers came in that do like Henry Cavill's Superman that they were able to do that. But at that point, the only thing left you can really do is create a post-credit scene. So in the very understandable question is, why didn't they just give him a role in the movie? That would have made it huge. Because they couldn't, because the old Warner Brothers leadership said no.
I think they need to do a short film about Black Adam going to the Apple store and getting his first iPhone. So he can text Superman. Like, what is an iPhone? Well, here it is.
I'd be down.
I would see this movie just to see that post-credit scene.
By the way, you mean you would see this movie again. Just to see that post-credit scene?
Yeah, like it's short. But
you had tears.
My goosebumps.
You had some tears.
Seeing him on screen again was beautiful, man. I didn't think we were ever going to see it again. So
it was good to see.
Shot. Cavill needs that one last shot.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Look, they have been blatantly revealing that Superman was in this anyway. Now they're actually saying the name Superman. Are you surprised that they're doing it? Are you not? Or you're like, what's the big deal? Everybody knew anyway. That's understandable. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's keep on the Black Adam theme since it is the biggest movie in the world right now. Alu, what is our second main topic today?
Topic number 2 comes to us from Raymond Montello. Good morning, John and crew. I saw a story today where the producers of Black Adam are saying that a sequel is ready to come a lot faster than we thought it would. I mean, considering the first one took almost 15 years to get on the screen, it would have to be faster, right? So just how soon do you think we may get a sequel? Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Raymond. And yeah, there was some very interesting comments made by one of the producers of the film, because as you said, famously, it's been a long time. I mean, they were looking at Dwayne Johnson to play Shazam 15 years ago. It was like 5, 6, 7 years ago that he officially announced, I'm Black Adam. And now the movie comes out. If they're going to do a sequel, how long will we have to wait? The answer might be surprisingly little we may have to wait for it. This comes to us from the folks at Slash Film, who wrote the following. Producers Beau Flynn and Hiram Garcia have indicated that we might not have to wait long for a Black Adam sequel, and certainly not as long as fans have been waiting for the first Black Adam movie, which cast Johnson all the way back in 2007 and has spent the last 15 years flying very slowly to the big screen. With regards to the sequel, Flynn said, "Don't worry, this one will be fast. We will open up the magic wagon. We'll have the script ready pretty fast," Garcia added. "It's not going to take that long. I can promise you that. We always hope the first domino's the easy one." He then echoed a line that Johnson once used in his pro wrestling career. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Saying, "We'll get cooking on the sequel fast. That's for sure." And that again comes to us from Slash Film. So it sounds to me like in a world where I've been increasingly frustrated with, like, say, Amazon with Rings of Power, being that you guys spent $1 billion on this. You knew you were doing a season 2 no matter what. Why did you not shoot the first 2 seasons back to back? It would have been less expensive from a logistics point of view, would have been far less of a nightmare, and you could have season 2 come out, a year after the first season. Instead, they didn't. They dragged their heels, and now a show that is struggling to get people on board with it. I mean, it took a while to get me on board with it, and I was looking forward to the show more than anybody else. Now, those people are going to have to wait 2 or 3 years for the next one? Idiotic. I like the philosophy. Like, you never want to get ahead of yourself, but I like the philosophy. They're like, look, we waited 15 years to get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Shazam. Let's take advantage of this. He says in this, we'll have a script ready pretty fast. I have definitively heard from somebody on the inside, their script's done. They've got a second script. Now, they may want to tinker with it depending on how the reactions are to the first film, but they literally could probably roll into shooting this thing in like 4 months if they wanted to. So I suspect as long as this movie is profitable, and I'll set the line at $475. If they can make $475, I think they almost instantly go into pre-production.
This is
on a second one.
worldwide.
What's that?
Worldwide.
Oh, yeah, worldwide. Yeah, it would be one of the biggest films of all time domestically. But I don't know, Rob, you're hearing they're saying we're going to move it very, very fast on the second one. I mean, obviously, we got to find out how it does to know if they're going to do a second one. But how quickly do you think we could see a second Black Adam?
Well, I think you're right. First of all, it has to make money. I would say 475 is that's the lower end. They're going to want it between 500 and 600 million would be the. Oh,
yeah, they'd like north of 500
trigger
for sure.
The production if they already have the script. I don't understand why they don't do this more often. I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Do you think Black Adam's going to appear in Shazam: Fury of the Gods?
Okay.
Post-credit scene.
I will say yes, but it'll be just slightly more than the degree that he had a quick appearance in the first Shazam movie. Because remember, the first Shazam movie, the wizard Shazam is telling them the story, and they just had like the Kryptonian sand-like thing telling the story, and you see just Black Adam. So I think it'll be very short, but I do think we're going to see him appear.
Not an able assist fighting Helen Mirren and.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So I was thinking because
if that's the case, you market that shit.
What
you have the biggest movie star in the world. You market
I was thinking, when they were deciding how to shift, because Shazam was supposed to come out before this movie.
Yes, it was.
And then they reversed it. And I think part of that could have had to do with Superman appearing in Black Adam. They're like, we want to shoot this tag. If they were looking to move things around because the effects pipeline or whatever, they could have added. Do
you really think they'd do a millions of dollar consequencing of moving a release date just because of a post-credit scene they put in something else?
But I think that all of it worked in tandem. I think
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And I think, why only shoot one post-credit scene with Superman when you could shoot another one? If you're bringing out the crew, you're rolling out the crew, why not do something as well to tie into Shazam? I would think that with Black Adam, I didn't realize Dwayne Johnson's production company is part of the production company that produces Shazam movies. So they're as much a part of those movies as they are with Black Adam.
Because remember, he was originally supposed to be Shazam.
I know. So the first inclination with the way they're marketing this and the fact they already have a script ready to go, I'm sure that they said, hey, we're going to shoot this post-credit scene. Why don't we shoot something for Shazam too? Why, now that we know that the schedule's changed, I would think from a marketing perspective, if they're building out a universe, and they're talking about how the universe has changed.
Yeah.
I think the universe has changed, not just based on this movie. I think there's more to it than we know.
I'll say this too. You know, when we started talking about the fact that originally he was cast to play Shazam, for a long time, I thought, I just don't see it. As Black Adam, can totally see it. I can't see him as Shazam until I saw his second Jumanji movie, or even just the first Jumanji movie. As he's playing a younger kid in a big, huge, hulking adult body, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, he could have been Shazam. He could have been. But I think I prefer him as Black Adam.
Well, one question, John. Do you think if we do get the sequel, it would have to be the sequel and then Superman versus Black Adam?
No, I think if they do a sequel, they have to jump on this thing quick because they're promoting. You got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson out there already saying, I guarantee you we're going to do Batman, or we're going to do Superman versus Black Adam, blah, blah, blah. And that movie wouldn't even be ready. Minimum, fastest this movie could come out is 2 years from now. That's the fastest, probably 3 years away. They got to go right into that. I don't think you
right
can
into
have
what? The sequel or the Batman?
No,
versus-
because if you wanted to do, if you didn't want to do Black Adam versus Superman in the next movie, but in a third movie, well, then that movie is minimum 4 or 5 years away.
Yeah,
Right.
I would
You
rather
can't
skip-
wait that long.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
got to
rather
be in
skip
the next
sequel.
one.
The sequel would be the verse of it.
Okay,
Yeah, the
good,
sequel would
good.
have to be. Yeah, it would have to be in the sequel.
And what I love about Black Adam the
squeak.
most, the way the character is portrayed, the conflict between Black Adam and Superman can be first and foremost an ideological conflict rather than a conflict of just brawls.
Which is very reminiscent of the Dark Knight Returns,
yes.
right?
Dark Knight Returns, Kingdom Come, call it whatever you want. But I love, and Civil War. You know, Tony
Yeah.
Stark and Steve Rogers had a difference of opinion that spilled out into a battle, you know, and I can see that happening, which is more believable to me, that both of them can be right in their own ways, but it leads to conflict. And I'm excited.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think? Do you think we could get a Black Adam sequel a lot sooner rather than later? I mean, 2 years is, depending if they are really as far along as they had been planning already, 2 years may not be out of the question. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, before we move on here, we're going to take another second and thank another sponsor of our video here today, our friends at DraftKings. Hey guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, DraftKings. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, so tip off the new season with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. So check this out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost up their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a stepped-up same-game parlay today. With payouts bigger than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where you need to go to bet on the NBA. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code CAMPEA, that's C-A-M-P-E-A. Make any $5 bet this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code Campea. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. And thank you to our friends at DraftKings for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get into main topic number 3. Lou, what is our third main topic today?
Topic number 3 comes to us from Alan Renshaw, who says, a new Black Panther 2 TV spot was just released, and it was very interesting. Mbako says Namor is covered in vibranium, and we get confirmation that was Shuri at the end of the last trailer due to her using arm pulse gauntlets that she used against Killmonger. What are your thoughts on this new TV spot?
All right, Alan, thanks a lot for sending that in. I normally don't pay attention to the TV spots. We cover all the trailers and stuff like that. Quite honestly, a lot of times, even for big, massive movies that I'm really excited about, I don't generally watch the TV spots a lot. This one was incredibly significant. This one was really, because a couple of key things happened in this. All right, first of all, let's talk about the Shuri thing. There is a shot near the end of the spot where whoever is in the Black Panther costume is doing this big flip and then holding out her fists, and you see it's exactly the pulse cannons that Shuri had on in the first Black Panther movie, right? Now, we've had no doubt, right? There's no question at this point that Shuri is going to be donning the Black Panther costume. The question is she Black Panther by the time this movie ends? And is she the only Black Panther? Both of those answers, I say, is no. I'm speculating, guessing. I think Shuri dies in this movie. Again, pure speculation. And I think we're going to see multiple people. And I think it's interesting that, we heard Lupita Nyong'o even talk about, we talked about her interview the other day, where Lupita Nyong'o says, yeah, everybody thinks they're getting it and nobody's getting it, at least not in its entirety. I think we're going to see M'Baku in a Black Panther costume. I think we're going to see Nakia in a Black Panther costume. So, I mean, not really surprised to see that shot, but it just kind of drives home again that for at least a part of this movie, maybe a short part, maybe a long part, Shuri will be a Black Panther. So that's no doubt. One of the more interesting things, though, for me, was there's an obvious edited conversation, audio-wise, between Shuri and M'Baku, where basically Shuri says, it wasn't M'Baku, I'm pretty sure it was Shuri who says, he's covered in vibranium. As they show the shot of M'Baku trying to get the jump on Namor and hit him with his club, and the club just shatters and all this kind of stuff. That would be interesting. And now when she says covered in vibranium, is it just the wristbands? Or are they literally saying, like maybe part of his mutation, that was he born next to a vibranium deposit and literally his skin is like doused and covered with vibranium? I mean, I don't know, but that clearly takes the threat level of Namor to another level, right? Because if this guy can do everything he can do, oh, and by the way, his skin is covered with vibranium. Again, the trailer's not very clear. We're talking about the things he's wearing. Are we talking about him himself? But the words used is he's covered in vibranium. So that to me was a very fascinating point there. I am very, very curious to hear about that. Anyway, Rob, I don't normally even talk about, let alone get worked up over like little TV spots. This one was fascinating to me. What was your takeaway from it?
Well, first of all, I loved hearing Namor speak.
Yeah.
Getting a sense of, and it looks like he's ferocious. I'm like, okay. Yeah, bring it on. The vibranium issue, obviously the threat level has been increased. Again, all this did was amp up my excitement for this movie. Maybe I'm too excited for this movie. I mean, it seems to be leaning into the geopolitical nature of it all. I love the idea that the Talocan Empire is pissed at Wakanda. I'm calling him the Empire because I'm thinking about Atlantis, the Lost Empire, or whatever. I'm just going to call him the Talocan Empire because I want to. I want them to be an empire, not a hegemony, not a confederacy. I want them to be an empire, and I think that he looks badass. And I do think that the interesting for me, Wakanda's philosophy about how they're revealing themselves to the world and what the Talocan Empire has to say about that. If that's part of the crux of the heart of this film, I'm really interested in what does all that mean? And the fact that without a king, or without a Black Panther, Namor's seen his opportunity. What are you going to do without the Black Panther? It's time for, I'm speaking like he's some kind of an Italian lord or something. I don't know. But
what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do with it? But I
got no Black Panther.
I think that I don't know. I'm just excited about this movie. I just have a really good feeling. I've been waiting to connect with Phase 4. And while I love Shang-Chi, it was kind of unto itself, where I feel like this movie is pivotal for the center of the MCU. And the ramifications of what happens in this movie are going to echo through eternity, as Maximus might say. And I just, this trailer, I don't know what this TV spot was just different. It felt different.
It did. It really did.
It felt different. And it gave me more of what I wanted to see in this film. I can't wait for this movie. Perhaps I'm putting all my eggs in the Wakandan basket, but I think it's a vibranium basket, and I don't think it's going to break.
Alu, I know you're really looking forward to this film. We were talking about it. Like, when you watch this TV spot, like, what are the things that stood out to you the most?
Yeah, look, I'm going to be so conflicted going into this film because I love the aquatic nature. I'm not going to be knowing who to root for in this movie. I'm going to be like, Namor, wait, Nakia, wait. But yeah, one thing I noticed in particular in the trailer is the wardrobe, which is something that doesn't really usually pop out to me. But if you notice, Nakia is actually wearing a garment that looks like it might have come from, the underwater universe.
Oh.
So is there some sort of team up going on here? Is there some kind of alliance? That's what the direction I think they're going to go in.
It's funny that you mentioned the wardrobe, because on Tuesday on our channel, the Academy Award winning costume designer of Black Panther and Black Panther 2 will be on our channel. She'll be a part of our Design in
Carter.
Hollywood series. Very excited about that. We'll, I'm sure, play a clip of it on the John Campea Show on Monday or Tuesday.
yeah.
So glad you brought that up.
By the way, you look, I'm Team Angela Bassett all the way. What Angela Bassett wants, I follow. Whatever she wants me to do, I'm going to do it.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Did you have a chance to see this TV spot? If so, what's your interpretation of the whole Black Panther situation? That was pretty clearly Shuri, or do you think it's a misdirect? Also, what's this whole thing about being covered in vibranium? Was she talking about Namor, or could she be talking about the appearance of a certain Latvian leader popping up? I mean, look, now we're blowing the doors open. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move into our fourth and final main topic today, shall we? Hello, what is our final main topic today?
Topic number 4 comes to us from Stuart. Hello, John and crew. I hope everyone is having a good morning. I just saw your theater review of Black Adam and was hoping you could expand more on it without spoiling the movie. Personally, I loved it, including the third act, as I found the movie to be like a great summer action blockbuster movie, but in the fall season. So, John, you literally just came from the film.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little non-spoiler?
Yeah, non-spoiler is always the hard part, right? So So I went to go see Black Adam. I was very excited about it. I mean, a little trepidatious too, because I think their marketing campaign botched it. Like, The Rock has been doing everything he can do to get out there in his social media and on his own, but the actual marketing campaign, I think, for Black Adam did not do a good job to turn people onto the film, I think. So I went in to watch it. And if you saw her out of the theater with me and Ray, our straight out of theater review, and I said this to Rob this morning, I have never seen a movie this bad that I've had this much fun at. And we've all got movies that it's like, yeah, that movie's not very good, but I love this one. I think this is Vulture, their headline, Black Adam is Warner Brothers' most brutal superhero letdown yet. Ooh. I mean, there's a lot of people coming out, and listen, I get it. I do. I get the negative reviews. Like the people who are complaining about this movie and pointing out a lot of bad things about it. You know what? I totally get it. And I'm totally there with you in many ways, because the filmmaking of this movie is atrocious. Jamais Colette Sarah, I think that's who directed this one, should not be allowed to direct.
Oh.
The dialogue in this movie is atrocious. There's a kid character in this movie who it's a good thing they kept them out of the trailers, because this kid in this movie was a complete waste. And I'm big on kids in movies. I usually think, the kid plays a great role. And I get it. The kid kind of became the physical manifestation or representation of what grounds Black Adam to his humanity, because he kind of, I get all that. I understand the philosophical side of it. I do. But everything that came out of this kid's mouth was cringy. And I hate using that word. And I hate people who use that word. So I hate myself a little bit right now.
Cringy is better than cringe.
Cringy. It's like, and like it gets convoluted and whatever. So that's what I mean when I say I've never seen a worse movie, ... that I have had an incredible time at. Listen, we often see some bad movies that's like, but it had a few good moments. It had some shining moments, right? Here's the thing about Black Adam. It has so many of those moments. So many of those moments. Like Ray and I were sitting together that I would like, yeah, or like, or be laughing out loud or at the edge of my seat.
The people that were sitting in that theater, that was like my favorite. There wasn't a lot of people, which is going to be.
What was a 3:00 in the afternoon show that we saw?
But the people that were there, they were all in. They reacted, especially the dudes right next to me. They were cheering for everything, even the stuff where I was like, "That's all right." They were just, they were totally into it, which I can appreciate. I mean, they love the DC. You could tell they were big fans of the DC universe. They were cheering it out. So yeah, our theater experience in itself.
The people that were having a great time.
Yeah, there's no groans, no
nothing.
nothing.
At the end of the day, what do I always say about movies? What are movies? Movies are experiential events. They're experience. What kind of an experience when you walk out of the theater? Did you have an experience? And as truly awful as many things in Black Adam are, there were so many times that I cheered and laughed, in the right way laughing, like they meant for me to laugh and I laughed, that I cheered and laughed and was on the edge of my seat and just enjoying this visual festival of things. And by the way, a couple of things that I really like the Justice Society. I liked Hawkman a lot more than I thought I would.
So great.
Obviously, Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate was fantastic. And you know what? The part I thought I would groan at ever since the CinemaCon presentation, what is the Centrino's kid's first name again? I keep forgetting it. Noah Centrino. Noah Centrino and the Tornado Girl, whatever.
Cyclone
She was great
and
too.
Atom Smash.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's your YA quota for this, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I actually found their dynamic and their relationship completely charming.
Yeah.
I actually found myself, it was wholesome. It felt really nice, and I like that part. But again, the visuals, the action, the one-liners, all that kind of stuff, that yes, it's a terrible movie.
Oh, yeah.
But guess what? I'm going to go watch it again today. Ann and I are going to go see it again. And I'll probably see it a third or a fourth time because there are so many of those great moments that despite all my complaints and despite my criticisms, and there are plenty of them, at the end of the day, I came out and I said to Ray, I had a good time.
Yeah,
that was fun.
But we will. I will warn you. Remember how I reacted to Jackass when we watched it?
Yes.
Some of those lines that kid said, I
You wanted to
turned
leave.
and covered my face just because.
Keep the Chipotle inside.
But then there's another element too, right, John? It's a comic book movie. Kids are gonna watch this. I know there's gonna be like some sort of family element to it, and maybe that's where those lines would come in. But it was just done very bad. Like there was no emotion. Any line that kid said, there was no emotion, and that's all I wanted.
Just wouldn't.
No,
Yeah,
other
it
than
was just
excitement, like unlike movies like The Dark Knight or Captain America Civil War or even Shang-Chi, where they can have things where you legitimately have emotional responses to things. I had, other than the excitement, which was top notch, I never felt any emotional pull or any emotional. The villain was lame. The villain was lame.
It was.
And then, I should save this for a spoiler discussion. Throw up the spoiler alert. I'm going to give you a narrative, non-important detail. Okay, this is a narratively non-important detail.
I'm seeing it Monday.
But
it's
you
cool.
saw a glimpse in one of the trailers that it looked like there was some kind of demon army, right? You saw in the one trailer. What the fuck is actually happening here? Like, because at the end of this, near the end of this movie, and this is away from the main action, like Black Adam is fighting somebody else. It's totally separate, right? But out of nowhere, for no reason whatsoever, this demonic armies of hell come to Earth. Okay. Boy, that sounds bad. Armies of hell sounds like that'd be pretty formidable. And in the words of Pitch Meeting, it's like barely an inconvenience because all you have to do is hit these demons of hell with a stick and they evaporate. Literally, like a couple of dozen people on the streets, just like, oh no, armies of hell. Well, let's pick up some sticks and hit them. And that's all you have to do.
It's whack-a-mole.
Armies of hell. That is how you deal with the armies of hell. And they just die. It's the simplest thing. I mean, but that is but a taste of some of the narrative tomfoolery that this movie tries to engage in. Anyway, end of the day, it's a bad movie, but I had a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm going to go back and watch it again. Rob, what did you think of the movie?
I've been waiting for this.
No, I think that you have nailed it. You know, Christian Harloff said to me, he said, it feels like a 90s movie.
It does.
And I didn't quite understand what he meant by that. And there was enough like there's enough badass imagery, like here's our villain. But
yeah, by the way, this fight was great.
Yeah.
I love all of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's like you said, there's a lot of stuff in this, but what I found interesting is it seemed like this movie was written and made before the MCU, before even Bryan Singer's X-Men had come out. It seems like it was after somebody made Steel. It's not like Steel, but
That's because you're going to the bottom of the bucket here.
It felt like I hated the script. It's like the need to have a child character in this film to have some connection for Black Adam to humanity, whatever the hell they wanted to do, felt so 90s. I mean, I was like, this script was conceived and written before the comic book movie renaissance of the last 22 years. And that's what I didn't like about it. Because like you said, the film should have been like, I think if you're going to make a great superhero movie, take the superhero-ness out of it and write a great story. If you want to have an ethical conflict between two characters, write that conflict without them having superpowers. Once you get the story settled, then add the superpowers into it, because you still need a great story. I felt that this movie was wildly all over the place. It was not focused in terms, all the pieces were there. And when there's cool stuff that happens all the time. I'm like, yeah, like you. I'm like, that was cool. But it didn't hold together. And ultimately, I thought, what am I supposed to take away from this movie? And it could have been cool. It could have been really focused. And the writing just felt like, I felt like Dwayne Johnson's like, well, we have to have a kid in it. Because, a lot of my fan base is kids. Well, why? And it's ethically, basically like that headline on that article, the Vulture article, murder is okay, kids. You can kill people. That's fine. I'm like, really? I don't know. I mean, without getting into spoilers, I felt that this movie was kind of just a mess.
Oh, you didn't like it at all? You didn't
No,
like
I
it,
did.
son?
No. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
No.
I love seeing the Justice Society. I love Pierce Brosnan. I loved Hawkman. All that stuff was great, but there was a lot of stupid in it too, and it was just offset by like, how do you not know that you've got this cool thing going, and then you change the tone of what you're watching from scene to scene, and I'm like, ugh.
Okay, bottom line though, when you walked out of theater, because we weren't in the same theater.
No.
When you walked out of theater, if I were to approach you at the theater and ask you, did you have a good time?
Yes, I did.
You did.
I did, because I got to see things I wanted to see my whole life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan, give him a movie. Give the Justice, and Hawkman and Dr. Fate, and like you said, Cyclone and Atom Smasher, there's a movie there. And I want to see Dwayne Johnson, I want to see Black Adam again in a movie where the script is focused, where, please, why, when you're writing a comic book movie, when we have something like Civil War to look back on, use that as a template, not this. And like you said, the villain, why did you even need that
It was a
villain?
useless throwaway villain.
You didn't even...
That did end up having some very cool fights, though.
No,
the
there
fights
were
great,
cool fights,
but
but
narratively, the villain
it
was
felt
lame.
like they had to add. There was so many things that they could have done. Like just a conflict between Black Adam and the JSA could have been cool. You could have pumped that up.
And
that
can we-
was kind of cool, actually.
I mean, it was, but I mean, that's all you needed.
Can we give respect to the VFX team on this? In my opinion, there's a lot that could have went wrong, especially when you're dealing with flight and like the
Oh, that's
environment.
cool.
The VFX
a lot of
team
the visual
did a
effects were
great
great.
job.
Yeah,
on
there's
this
really
one.
cool stuff to see in this movie. You know what, John? I think one of the worst big budget studio movies I've ever seen that I love. If you tell me this movie is not good, it's not. But I love it, is The Specialist with Sylvester Stallone and Sharon Stone. It's a terrible movie, but I love it to death. This movie had
You
a
still
little
love it if you take out the shower scene, though?
I do.
You still, okay,
I do.
that's fair.
You know why John Barry's score is great? And the shower scene, I've never seen a shower scene with Sharon Stone nude that you spend more time watching Stallone in it. That's one of the problems of the movie. But this is kind of like that.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Have you had a chance to see Black Adam yet? If so, what did you think? Look, I don't know that I've ever felt that this statement has been more applicable. A really bad movie that was really fun. And again, I with all the complaining I'm doing, I'm going to go see it again tonight. I don't know. How did you guys feel about it? What are your expectations for it if you haven't seen it yet? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that all down, we're now going to open up the super chats. Now is your time. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or question that you want us to address on the show, just go ahead and use the super chat feature and fire that in now. And we will get to those once we come back from thanking another one of our sponsors, my cell phone service provider, our friends at Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding. There isn't one. Mint Mobile just has premium wireless from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find all these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. With my old wireless provider, every month when I opened the bill, it was like playing roulette. I never knew knew how big the bill was going to be, and it always seemed to get bigger. With Mint Mobile, it's totally different. I know exactly how little I'm paying every month, and there's never any surprises. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint Mobile, families start at just 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And guys, you get to use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. So transferring over couldn't be easier. So to get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. You'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to Ryan Reynolds and his folks over at Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that all down, let's now move over and start taking your live questions you guys have been firing in. So, Alou, what do we got?
All right, let's see. We're starting with Suthius. We go back to Isaiah. Isaiah, thank you for the super chat. Suthius says, Be Adam or Jungle Cruise, both directed by Joama.
Joame. At the end of the day, Black Adam. It's the more fun. Look, I didn't dislike Jungle Cruise.
No, I kind of liked it.
It was oddly charming.
Yeah.
But I don't trust this director anymore. And I just don't. And for whatever reason, The Rock likes him. Great. Why he does, I'm not sure. But I did not love Jungle Cruise. But again, give credit where it's due. Jungle Cruise was more charming than it should have been. But even with all the bad things I just said about Black Adam, The Rock makes it so much fun that I will take that one. Which one do you take?
I would agree with you. Look, I did not, from all my criticisms of this movie, I had fun with it. I enjoyed watching it just because I got to see cool shit.
Right.
You know, does it hold together? No. I don't know if I expected it to, though. Jungle Cruise was a pleasant surprise because I expected nothing from it. I had fun. And Jama makes movies that are he's like the biggest B movie studio director that there is, because he's done Liam Neeson movies. Like, was it Nonstop?
Yeah. He did like 4 Liam Neeson films.
Yeah. So he's making B movies at the studio level, big budget B movies, which I'm there for. It's cool. But I'm gonna take Black Adam only because, if nothing else, I want hot toys of all that Justice Society goodness.
All right, what's next?
All right. Jedediah Elias says, guessing WB was contractually obligated to put Black Adam in theaters. Last I checked, Zaslav canceled Batgirl because it would make DC look bad.
Except for one thing. This is a fun movie.
Right.
Like, listen, with all the complaints that I have, legitimate complaints, and God, like, guess what? You don't have to be one or the other. You can do both. You can have, like, again, I'll use Shang-Chi as a great example. You can have some great kick-ass action and fun, but a really interesting mythology and story that you tell and have some legitimate emotion. You can do all of it. That being said, everything, listen, we don't tell you guys everything we hear or everybody that we've talked to, but we've talked to some people who are pretty closely connected. Batgirl was a disaster. The movie apparently was a straight up disaster. This movie with Black Adam, with all the complaints, I still walked out going, I'm glad I watched it. That was fun. And I'm going to go back again.
Better than Morbius.
So it was definitely better than Morbius. But
Morbius
again,
series?
This is not, don't try to compare this situation to the Batgirl situation, because apparently, like, from every legitimate person that I've talked to that has been close enough to the situation, it's like, make no mistake, they're being nice about it in the press. But make no mistake, that movie apparently was an unmitigated disaster and could not be let anywhere near the theaters. So there's that. All right, what's next?
Andy says, Black Adam would have been a better movie if every scene of the kid was replaced with the Nicole AMC ad. Not to crap on a child actor, but he was so cringy.
And listen, it's going to be a lot like I'll say about any other. Remember, that kid is not the one who came up with the lines.
Right.
It's not the kid's fault. You're going to put any kid actor in there. If they're saying the same lines and doing the same things, it's going to come across just as bad. So it's not the kid's fault. It's the script's fault. But that you could have replaced that kid with Jar Jar Binks and it still would have been better. I mean, oh no, Misa have to save the day. I mean, it would have been better.
Can we stop referring to him as a kid? I saw like a 19-year-old trying to be young right there.
But no, yeah, that kid wasn't
Yeah,
19. Come on. But he was probably a little bit older than they were portraying him in the thing. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says a Facebook House of the Dragon meme group I'm in calls Helena neurospicy because she's coded as neurodivergent or autistic. So who doesn't love a neurospicy seer?
I'll tell you what, why in all these fantasy shows does anybody that has remotely that kind of power also have to be in one way or the other a little bit off? Like look at Bran.
Their
Like,
minds are in different places at once.
Yeah, that's probably it. Because Bran, go back to the original Game of Thrones. Like Bran is like, I'm sorry, that kid's annoying. Like I love the character in the show, I do, but I wouldn't want to hang out with that character. He's just way too annoying. So I don't know. They always seem to go that way in these fantasy shows.
I have a feeling if I were to use that in regular conversation, I'd get canceled.
No,
Maybe.
it's actually pretty like acceptable
All right, what's
Can I use
next?
it?
in the community. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. AK Anomaly. Welcome back, AK Anomaly. How's it we've got all these remake announcements, but no news on a new Tron film? I agree. Being in development. Like imagine one made by Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, I'm sorry. Denis, I was reading it the Spanish way. Denis Villeneuve. The 2010 is highly underrated, in my opinion. Agree. Love Tron.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not overrated. I mean, listen, I was very excited about that Tron
Me
movie.
too.
The soundtrack in it is great. You've got, I mean, Olivia Wilde is amazing in it. It's a little off-putting now, but the youngification, the digital younging down of Jeff Bridges in that was unheard of at the time. Like today we look at and we'd say, oh, they didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
But for at the time, it was pretty remarkable what they pulled off. I didn't find it to be very good though. And that movie's an expensive movie to make. And Disney went full throttle with that one. I mean, they put lots of money into that movie, all that kind of stuff. So I don't think they are going to do a third one. And I'll be on the unpopular bus here. I don't think they should. You feel very differently though, Lou. You really like that movie.
I just want to see a Tron. It can be a separate one-off. It doesn't even have to have Olivia Wilde, Garrett Hedlund in it. If it can literally be a whole separate thing. But I just want it. I love that universe. I love the Tron universe. Obviously, I would love to have Jeff Bridges come back in some capacity and do something. But yeah, the 2010 was interesting. But again, for the time, it was really powerful, I guess, for something in the Tron universe.
What do you think
Come
about
back
that,
like
Rob?
Well, you know, in my career, one of the things I'm most proud of that I made was a feature-length documentary on the making of Tron.
Ooh.
So I was immersed in that world for the DVD. But I felt that the movie, the real problem I had with Tron Legacy was what Tron promised, the rise of the digital world and a digital realm, happened. You know, it happened. I mean, it was not anthropomorphized, but when you get to Tron Legacy, the idea that the grid was this hermetically sealed computer world after the internet had risen to power, the Tron movie, Tron Legacy, had nothing to say about our world and what happened with the digital world exploding the way it did. And I'm like, okay, it's the grid. So you've now roped off or you've closed off this digital realm when really it's taken over the whole world. You could have done something really expansive and really interesting.
Even Wreck-It Ralph 2 did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even they had to go into that, right?
Absolutely. That's actually a really good point to make. And I was so crushed by that. I'm like, here's an opportunity to have taken this world and done something really visionary with it. Now, I love the visuals. I love Daft Punk's score. I love Michael Sheen coming out, you know, being the club impresario. But the movie had nothing to say. And I was so bummed out because,
That's
man,
some great music, though.
That light cycle sequence in that movie is awesome. The visuals are awesome. The movie is empty-headed. It's just,
All right.
bummer.
What's next?
Rob, we can remedy that by just having the Matrix directors do the next Tron.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And we'll
that
have that
would have
whole
been,
world.
combining Tron and the Matrix would have been dope.
Are you serious? Have you seen the latest Matrix movie? I don't want them touching anything. I don't want them going near anything. All right. What's
All right.
next?
Al Rencha says Waller's role in the MCU raft like prison was a complete waste in Black Adam.
Well, we're not going to go into details here. I don't agree. I think, like, with all the things they did wrong in this,
Yeah.
I think what they were at least giving us a little glimpse at, I didn't have a problem with it, to be honest with you.
You know, you did point out something, though, the fact that they somehow had Xavier's mansion in this movie.
Oh, dude. Okay, we will tell you this.
What the hell?
So I guess guess what? They live someplace. Spoiler: they have a home. But there is a scene where the Justice Society, you saw in the trailer where Centrine, the Justice Society is walking together. And Centrine goes, "I don't have a passport," and Dr. Fate says, "We don't need one. We're the Justice Society," right? That's when they're getting ready to get on their plane and fly away. It is such an X-Men ripoff. First of all, the house looks just like Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted, like just like it. And then their jet that looks just like the X-Men's SR-71 Blackbird thing.
Quinjet.
Just like the ground opens up. So they're thinking I'm just watching. I'm like, did they just recycle the X-Men stuff for this?
I'm sorry, how many Quinjet dealers do you know?
There's at least 6.
How much
There's
variety?
only got to be that one guy.
No, there's hybrid Quinjets now, and there's Tesla Quinjets.
You know what? General Urus in the live chat says, "Hey, well, what if the Justice Society was just renting the X-Men mansion?" You know what? That's not in this economy. It's a little Airbnb it.
They went. It's
the
well, they
expansion.
go to Vancouver, whatever they need. Sure.
All right.
Toronto,
What's next?
Why not?
All right, Corey Hensley. Have Black Adam tickets tonight for my nephew and I. If not for the cameo, I don't know if I'd be motivated to see this opening weekend. Poor marketing.
Well, Corey, you just answered the question that Ray brought up earlier, right? Like, do you think that this cameo by Henry Cavill is going to nudge anybody to see it? And you're a living example of that. That yes, they are. And you know what? I don't think you're alone, because you're right. The marketing has been piss poor. It's been like the first trailer, not bad for a first trailer. But the trailers never proceeded to start to tell a story, right? To tell people why you need to come see this. It's always been, The Rock's in it. And that's been the whole crux of your marketing campaign. You need to do more than just that. But I'm glad that you're going to go see it, because you're going to go see it for Henry, even if it is ever so short. All right. It had Ray in tears, literally tears in his eyes.
Aww.
It was beautiful. It was amazing.
I didn't think it would hit that way, but
Yeah.
man, those colors.
Woo, look great. All right, what's next?
Colin Z says Disney is bypassing a theatrical release for Strange World in France due to French laws involving streaming content.
You're going to see
happened
Disney
before.
foregoing a theatrical run of a lot of their movies in France, because France, I can't remember. We talked about it actually once. I can't remember, but it's like something ridiculous. Like if you play a movie in the
stay
theater
in it,
here,
yeah.
you got to wait a year and a half until it can
like
go on your
17
streaming
months.
network.
Why?
And Disney's like, we can't do that. So yeah, in France, they're going to make it go directly to Disney.
Here's what I
Plus.
don't understand though. Couldn't they do like, okay, we'll do it a year and a half wait in France? I mean, I guess then if people have VPNs, they're still going to see it.
Yeah.
If they release it elsewhere, so it doesn't matter. Never mind.
Explain yourself, France. I need to know.
They have good reason, but I get
Yeah,
the crux
like don't
of
get
it.
me. I love the idea of a more fortified theatrical window, but even I have got to say what France is doing is a little unreasonable. I think it's a little bit unreasonable. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I think Ted Lasso will redeem Nate because isn't one of Ted's core philosophy forgiveness and second chances?
Yes, but fuck Nate. Listen, I'm not Ted. I'm not Ted. Yeah, I want Ted to be all about redemption and forgiving. That's great for Ted. I want to see Nate get his ocular cavity fucked by a pit bull. I want to see him die.
Wow, that's
in some
specific.
horrible, horrible, horrible way. I want to see Nate ripped to shreds, his body strewn across the street, and have Ted go,
What did this Nate guy do again?
he betrayed Ted.
He did.
He betrayed them. Guy who opened it, gave him his job,
In a big way.
gave him
Yeah, but
love
that-
and encouragement.
But did he kill half a team on Mars and almost blow up Mars? No.
I know, but I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would if you gave him the chance. Fuck Nate. All right, what's next?
James Argenta says, in episode 1, Rickon Stark bent the knee. Rickon has died since episode 1, and his son Kragon is the Lord. A plot point of season 2 will North side with blacks or greens.
Ooh.
Oh, that I didn't realize that. Well, I guess it has been like
20
20 years since he pledged House Stark to Rhaenyra. Yeah, I don't see House Stark going back on their oaths. So I have a feeling they're going to be Team Black. I hope, because I do love House Stark. Love him very, very much. Anyway, that's great. Some great information there. Thanks for sharing that, man. All right, what's next?
Alex von Gollum, Luis Despacito, Victoria Alonso, have worked closely with Feige for years. I imagine they've learned a lot about his vision and style. Shouldn't he rely a lot on them for some movies, shows to ease things?
You got to remember, both of them already have roles that they play.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like Ray has worked with me for over 10 years now. Ray has a role that he plays. He does. And so regardless of how busy I get, the busier I'm getting at my job, remember, his job is getting busier too, right? Jonathan's job is getting bigger. So it's not like their jobs can get bigger. Now they have all sorts of free time to take things off my plate, right? The whole thing is growing. So this is coming from an ongoing discussion there's been about whether or not they need to either decrease the sheer amount of stuff they're producing at Marvel, which I believe they should do. I honestly believe that. I think they should cut down. I think they should have 3 or 4 projects a year max, and that includes theatrical and Disney Plus. Or you got to hire another Kevin Feige to come, because listen, I'm a big MCU fan. They've done some fantastic things in Phase 4. But come on, guys, I don't think there's a lot, if we're all being honest, I don't think there's a lot of disagreement in the room that Phase 4 has been the weakest of the phases so far. And I don't think it's a coincidence that that's when they've exploded the sheer amount of content they've been putting out, and Kevin Feige's been stretched too thin. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to, connect A to B here. So it's going to be interesting to see the way they navigate this moving forward. All right, what's next?
Jay Master says, Rob, according to ESPN, Jerry Bruckheimer, the majority owner of the Seattle Kraken, called Hans Zimmer to compose the team soundtrack in which the Kraken will use for TV commercials.
What?
God bless.
I didn't
Jerry
even know
Bruckheimer.
Buck Bruckheimer was the majority owner.
Oh,
of the team.
yeah. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm hoping that we interview him for Designing Hollywood.
God bless Jerry Bruckheimer.
Jerry Bruckheimer owns the
Get
Seattle
involved
Kraken.
in hockey.
There he is.
He's now my favorite producer.
And having Hans Zimmer do the score. Come on, if it's like the Crimson Tide score.
That would be awesome. Can he do a Leafs score too? Can he talk him into doing scores for every single one of the NHL teams?
No, come on, only the Kraken, dude. Only the Kraken.
All right, what's next?
Raymond Verada says, a New York jury found Kevin Spacey not liable for sexual battery claims by Star Trek Discovery actor Anthony Rapp. The jury concluded that Rapp did not prove that Spacey touched him sexually. Yeah,
so this is very interesting. And we might have to talk about this in the coming days, because obviously, Kevin Spacey his career is non-existent at this point with all the stuff going on. And it's really interesting. The thing that brought all the Kevin Spacey, all the dominoes starting to fall, was the Rapp one. The first name's Anthony, right? Anthony Rapp, who's, of course, one of the stars of Star Trek Discovery, and claims to me. Now, there's a couple of important things to keep in mind here. Number one, the jury, I had some people writing to me saying, did you see that the jury found that Kevin Spacey was innocent? They did not. What they ruled was that he was not liable. And while that's not just a semantic thing, there's actually some relevance there. Basically, what that means is that the court was basically saying that the accuser was not able to definitively prove that the things that happened. And it was going to be a really tough uphill climb anyway, because how do you prove what happened in a room where only 2 of you are? It becomes a he said, she said. But still, the finding of the jury there is significant. However, it's important to keep in mind that Kevin Spacey's legal problems are not over. That was a civil litigation thing going on here. In the UK, he's actually facing criminal charges.
Yes.
As well as several other things going on. So while if you are Kevin Spacey, this news was really good news, it's not over. The worst could still be yet to come. The criminal case in the UK is going to be absolutely paramount. Here's the interesting question that I'm sure we won't address right now, but we can address sometime in the future. Let's say he gets exonerated in all the cases. Say he gets found not guilty in the criminal case and all the other, claims that are being made against him. He gets exonerated of those. And can Kevin Spacey at that point make a comeback? And I don't know. There's just been so much. But it's going to be interesting to see. But you know what? Again, there's no point really going into it in much depth right now, because there's a lot of court cases, including a criminal one, still coming up. So let's see how those turn out, and then we'll have some interesting stuff to talk about. All right, what's next?
Chef Rigo.
Chef Rigo.
We got to go back to the show.
Yeah, we really do.
Saw Black Adam at AMC Tyler last night and saw some of your guys' buddies. Also, my friend couldn't, can I say that? Fucking stand Atom Smasher, but overall, we enjoyed it.
I really thought I wasn't going to like Atom Smasher. I'll be honest, I really did. I didn't like anything about Atom Smasher in the trailers or anything. And I surprisingly, by the end of the movie, found the character pretty charming, particularly his relationship with Cyclone.
I actually didn't like that part of it. I cringed at that part. I just liked the way, I guess I was seeing he was supposed to be He-Man.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah. This kid was supposed to be He-Man.
And that's all I thought. I was like, he really can play the passive Prince Adam, which is
I'm
the
sure
one
he
who
could have
doesn't-
played Prince Adam.
He could have played him very well with what I saw last.
I just don't know that he could have played He-Man.
Well, that's the.
Yeah, this is a different thing altogether. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I know you don't care, John, but Doctor Who returns Sunday. It's 13's last episode and celebrating the BBC's centennial, which is a milestone in and of itself.
Yep, don't watch Doctor Who. I have no idea. Is anybody in the room a Doctor Who viewer? Oh, you are. I know Chris is too, but I didn't know you watched Doctor Who.
Yeah, I mean, look, Doctor Who has been a perennial since I've been alive. Doctor Who has existed, and while I think the modern era of Doctor,
I think since your parents have been alive, probably.
Oh yeah, I mean Christopher Eccleston coming back in 2005, revitalizing as the ninth Doctor, and then David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. I think. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I really love the modern revival of Doctor Who, and I think it's had its ups and downs. The Russell Davies era was the best. I still think my favorite thing of all Doctor Who is Torchwood Children of Earth. Those 5 episodes.
I hear that a lot. Yeah,
so good. But I have not the Jodie Miss Whittaker. Her run on Doctor Who has been, shall we say, uneven. So I'm looking forward to see Russell T Davies come back with the new Doctor Who from Sex Education. It's gonna be good.
Is Matt Smith still a part of that? No, he's gone.
No. He moved on a long time ago.
No, there's been other doctors since Peter Capaldi.
Or else Ray might have been interested in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Henry of Motunui says, loved my Uso, Dwayne in Black Adam. Uso is Samoan for brother.
Of course, that's why in the WWE you have the Uso brothers,
Right.
who, of course, hang out and are family with Roman Reigns, who's the reigning defending champion, who is Dwayne The Rock
Polynesian
Johnson's
kid.
cousin. So the whole connection there.
It's all connected, dude.
And listen, again, with all the complaining, and there are a lot of very legitimate complaints about Black Adam, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's awesome, man. He's but we expected no less, right? He's incredibly fun to watch. All right, what's next?
Love Daggerborn says, how big of a chance do you think we will hear the name William Stryker in Thunderbolts?
That's not bad. Of course, William Stryker made popular in the movies by Brian Cox from Succession, playing him in the X-Men films. Of course, a pivotal character in the X-Men story. I'm going to say no. I don't think they will. I don't know if they're going to cross-pollinate that too much too soon. It's a really intriguing idea, though.
Yeah.
Rob, percentage chance that we see Stryker in that? Because he really is connected to the
I would think probably not. I'm just curious. I mean, look, Namor's a mutant.
Yep.
And
Captain Marvel's or Ms. Marvel's
Ms. Marvel's mutant. I mean, we're seeing it slowly bleeding in. I don't know how far they're going to go.
All right. What's next?
Eknor Singh says, do you guys think we will get a Dr. Fate solo movie with Zatanna taking over the helmet similar to the comics and Young Justice show?
No, I don't think, like, what the basic pattern for all these comic book movies is that you do a run of the comic book character who is known as that character. And then, like, you couldn't have started the MCU with, Sam being Captain America.
Right.
You gotta have Steve as Captain America. And then maybe later you can transition that, but I don't see them doing that at all. They can't, listen, they haven't even gotten Zatanna going, let alone Zatanna then becoming a Dr. Fate. No, I don't see them doing that.
I don't either.
All right, what's next?
Stubble McShave says, C. Fisher would turn 66 today. She died too soon at 60.
I saw a great meme. I think it's an older meme. I don't remember seeing it. But somebody put this meme together. It's like a biography of Carrie Fisher reveals that she had never seen a Star Wars movie when she went to do A New Hope. Which I'll let you think about that for a second. But I read that and I laughed my ass off.
God.
All right. I see the guys in the room even going, wait, what does that mean? There was no Star Wars movie before A New Hope.
We just all realize you're soulless right now.
Why?
You're laughing on the anniversary of Woodrow
I'm thinking of a
birthday.
great
I'm
memory of
just
Carrie
kidding.
Fisher.
I'm kidding. It was just funny to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
So today would have been her Order 66
today would have been her Order 66.
The memories of the day she has.
It's still odd. In the King of Irony, I literally was with my family.
Rogue One.
We were at Rogue One. Ray was there too, and we walked out of the theater. Took my family to see Rogue One. Turned my phone back on, and Carrie Fisher had died. It was.
We had literally just seen her on the
we
screen.
just seen her on screen and came out of the
And I
theater.
see
and
everyone
she died.
on their phones. I was like wondering what's going on, and then I just hear, "Oh, Carrie Fisher just passed away."
Yeah,
it was really
everybody in the
ironic
foyer was talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was the opposite order. I was in Hawaii, and we got the news first, and then we were going to go see Rogue anyway, but then we went and saw it, and then it was just an extra, like...
At that last scene.
Yeah. It's like...
All right, what's next?
All right. Jai CSC says, how likely is it that a movie could get 8+ wins at the Oscars again? More movies are made now, so more competition in just one category.
True. I mean, listen, winning, you got to have a movie that comes out and just slays. What we've seen a lot of in the last few years is like, it's funny, like the last 10 years or so, I feel like going into October, November, we go, it hasn't been that great of a year for movies. And then the Oscar nominations come out and you're like, no, change that. This has been an incredible year for movies. The competition has gotten so good. Like this past year, we saw Dune, I think, win 6.
Yeah.
I think it won 6. So I do think we will see a movie come out that really does dominate. But are we going to see one dominate the way that like Lord of the Rings Return of the King did, where it tied the all-time record for 11 Oscar wins? It swept. I don't think we're ever going to see this again. Return of the King was nominated in 11 categories at the Oscars, and it swept. It won every single category it was nominated for. That will happen for the odd movie that has 2 nominations, but I don't think we are ever again going to see a movie that gets nominated for 10 or more Oscars and then sweeps every single I don't think it'll ever happen again. But 8 or more? Yeah, we could see it. I mean, depending on how good Fabelmans is, I mean, maybe Fabelmans wins everything. I mean, I don't know. All right, what's next?
Mr. Hank Dunn says, I now trust DC more than Marvel. With the exception of Wonder Woman 84, DC since Aquaman has left me satisfied, where Marvel has been more miss than hit.
Listen, I'll tell you what, with all the stuff that, look, the perception is fair that DC is a second-class citizen compared to Marvel and all that kind of stuff. Fair, but Shazam, I thought was fantastic. Aquaman was a lot of fun. Peacemaker is the best thing DC's ever had on television, in my opinion. I thought Black Adam, it is a train wreck, awful, awful movie, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. And I'm going to go see it again. I suspect Shazam 2, same director's back, all that kind of stuff. I suspect Shazam 2 will be just as charming and as wonderful as all that. You're right. And then James Gunn's Suicide Squad, while an absolute flop, was brilliant. I love that movie. Take out Wonder Woman 84, and yeah, very quietly, DC is kind of amassed and I didn't like Birds of Prey either, but they've amassed a pretty good run of movies that I've really enjoyed.
Batman.
Oh, and of course, well, that's not DCEU, but still, you're right. DC, Joker, Batman, they've been cranking out some really good stuff. They very quietly, and listen, give credit where it's due. Walter Hamada was the one kind of at the helm as they started, even though he didn't have all the authority in the world, so the credit goes around as well, but he kind of very quietly helped them string together a series of really good films. And you know what? Maybe you can make an argument that if you want to take their last 7 projects and put them side by side, I'd say DC's quality fares very well against Marvel's quality. So let's see if that continues. All right, what's next?
Talkin' Entertainment with Josie says, got my tickets to check out Yellowstone and Tulsa King on the big screen next Saturday. Game
What?
day.
Yeah, what's that about?
Are they doing a season premiere of Yellowstone on the big screen?
Well, Yellowstone and Tulsa King, it makes sense because they're both Tyler
Sheridan
and Paramount
projects.
I mean,
Aren't they both Paramount too? Paramount Plus?
Yeah.
They would have to both. So
Yeah.
listen, if that's playing on the big screen somewhere, like a season premiere of Yellowstone, and our debut episode of Tulsa King, which looks great.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'd totally go to theaters to see
that's
that.
very good. Is that happening here in LA?
I don't know. I've not even heard of that. I'm gonna have to look now.
What a cool idea.
According to Variety, Yellowstone season 5 premiere and Tulsa King to debut at AMC theaters. They're going to do a special preview.
Okay,
Really?
I gotta get tickets.
It says in over 100 AMC theaters.
Wow.
So you gotta assume
It
LA is
says
gonna be.
Saturday, October 29th, and tickets are now on sale.
All right, I'm getting my tickets for that. Oh, I'm gonna be in Vegas.
Maybe there's one in Vegas.
Maybe there's one in Vegas.
Maybe.
There you go,
Yeah.
buddy.
All right, I'm gonna keep my eyes open for that. All right,
Hey,
what's
I
next?
have a question though on streaming for Yellowstone, because isn't it? It's on Peacock, but it's also on Paramount Plus, or
Wait. So
because I've been watching episodes of Yellowstone on Peacock.
Yeah, so when Yellowstone got running, they had signed a deal to stream it on Peacock because Paramount Plus was not yet a thing. And I think there's some, however the license works out, that there's probably some overlapping going on. So I don't think you can watch new episodes
Just
on
the
Peacock.
past ones.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Again,
That's
I don't
probably
know
the
the
way
details
it
of
is.
that life. But it's one of those complicated situations where they signed a deal before they had their own streaming service up and running. So
All right.
we'll see. All right, what's next?
Daniel Soricchia with a $20 super chat.
Oh, thank you, Dante. Appreciate that.
All right. Hey, crew, I was a culinary specialist in the Navy in 2009 when Captain Phillips was rescued. He boarded my ship and I made him
No.
cookies. All true. Have you ever been directly part of a real world event that was turned into a film?
Wow, that's cool.
Ooh, what a story that.
That's a very cool story.
great story.
I love that movie. I still can't believe Tom Hanks didn't get a nomination for that. Anyway, or did he get a nomination for that?
I don't know, but the most important part he left out. What kind of cookies did he bake, Mr.
yeah,
Captain Phillips?
there's the main question.
Come
What
on, man.
cookies? What cookies were there? Was I ever part of a thing like an event where they then made a movie out of it? I can't think of one off the top of my head. I mean, it's a great question.
I
But,
don't do that many important things.
yes, I mean, but even there, just being there, I can't think of one. But that is a great story, Dante. Thanks for sharing that, man.
I was going to say,
All
I
right.
thought I had one, but I think it happened before I was there. You know the movie Coach Carter about the
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson? I went to that high school, but not when that event was going on. But I was,
Yeah, because I think you were like 4 when the movie
Probably.
came out. So it's
No,
not
I
like-
wasn't. No, when the movie came out.
We're all a part of the Northridge earthquake, right, Rob? You
But they didn't
remember
make
the
a
Well,
movie
that's
about
true.
it.
But they
yeah,
didn't make a
but have they
movie,
made
but-
they made a Northridge earthquake
No.
movie?
They should.
I'll tell you. Well, the LA riots,
Oh,
you know, I
but
was here for the LA riots, but they made. I mean, that was
Well, okay, so iconic reactions are pointing out, but John, you were actually in a Hulk movie. Yeah, but that's not a real world
Real
event
life.
that I was at that they then turned into a movie. Like I was actually
That'd
in the
be
movie.
crazy if
so.
it
I
was.
feel like I have one. I'll think about this.
All right. We need to move on here. What's next?
All right, Pablo Zuniga says, no spoilers, but wish they would have referenced Adam's connection to Shazam more. Hope they come together sooner than later.
They did a pretty good job
did.
showing the connect. I don't
Yeah.
want to. We're not going to give any spoilers away, but without actually having Shazam pop up in the movie, they did about as much as you can do to show the connection between him and
Yes.
Shazam.
That's why I think Fury of the Gods. We might see Black
I
Adam.
mean,
again.
it would be totally appropriate if they did. So
Yeah.
we'll have to find out. All right, what's next?
Dr. J says, I was shocked at your Black Adam review. It's been so long since I've seen a poor child actor performance in a project. Was this due to poor writing or direction?
Both. Yeah, both. I don't know who wrote the script. I haven't looked it up. I don't know who wrote the script for Black Adam, but bad job. And it was badly directed. By the way, I don't want to make it sound like I'm going to run away from any movie that he ever directs again in future. No. I'm not one of those. I mean, like, people can have good days at the office and bad days at the office. This was a bad day at the office.
Yeah.
Right? It was a bad day at the office. And maybe he can turn it around and do something great with the next one that he does. And I hope he does. But this was not a good outing. This was not a good outing. Like, this movie is all built upon the premise of the story, the premise of the idea, and then The Rock carrying it. I mean,
Yes.
that's what makes it watchable. All right. What's next?
Dildar says, for John's OnlyFans, instead of posting feet, should be his breakdance vids. Ooh.
No. See, you misunderstand my OnlyFans campaign. I
it's
am running
reverse.
a reverse
Yeah.
OnlyFans campaign. You either send me $5 every month or I send you dick pics. So it's up to you. I mean, so you'd be surprised how much money I'm making now. The money came pouring in when I announced my reverse OnlyFans. The money came pouring in.
Wow.
All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Gerardo says, my House of the Dragon prediction is middle finger might flip to Team Black. He is an opportunist.
Middle Finger is totally a guy who would flip sides. He totally is. But I think he's switching sides internally. So he's staying Team Green, but it's the last episode made it kind of look like he's flipping from Team Allison to Team Otto.
Who's Middle
Laris, Middle Finger. Yeah. The feet fetish guy.
But the way he's portrayed in the show, he's in love with Allison.
Yeah.
He's in love with her feet.
He's in love with her.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I don't know. He seemed pretty open. Like he knew Allison and Otto were doing this, and he was kind of pitching his wares to Otto. I mean, maybe he asked to look at Otto's feet. It's like, yeah, those are pretty good. I'll come to your side. I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating.
If they do that.
All right, what's
Forget
next?
about it.
Raymond Verada says Namor McKenzie has vibranium. Namor's dad was searching for it just in the comics. Imperious Rex.
You know, that's the one thing about Namor. Are they going to go with that last name? Because that's canonical.
I doubt it.
Namor's last name is Mackenzie.
Nah.
Are they going to use it? I don't see.
Mackenzie?
I don't see. That's his name.
It is.
Namor's last name is really Mackenzie
His
because
human
his father
father's
is
last name's Mackenzie.
the sea captain, is
Oh, my bad.
Scottish, right? Irish.
Okay.
I mean,
I
are they
don't-
going to do that? Or
I don't think
I
they're
can't imagine
doing
the
that.
Talican Empire's last
Yeah.
name.
It's going to be
Mackenzie.
Gomez.
Gomez. By the way, my that's my other half of my family. My mother's maiden name is Mackenzie. So all my uncles and aunts on my
Oh,
mom's
wow.
side are-
I mean, I could see Taylor. I could see Namor's last name being Gonzalez. Namor Gonzalez is a cool name.
I can make that happen.
Absolutely.
Oh, God.
All right, what's next?
Quality Not Included says, how does Black Adam rank amongst 2022 superhero content?
I can't even remember what was in 2020 superhero. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked it better than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
I did not. I thought.
Oh,
I
what?
think overall Thor: Love and Thunder was
Oh.
probably
Thor: Love and
better
Thunder.
than.
I don't care what
And
anyone
again,
says. I love
I have big issues with both of the movies.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I think Thor: Love and Thunder was better than.
I just had more fun, just maybe because it's DC and I love seeing the Justice Society.
Ms. Marvel might be the. No. The Batman is the best comic book thing that's come out this year. I'd say Ms. Marvel is probably a close second. But yeah, again, I can't even remember which years things come out, so I don't know. All right, what's next?
Suthia says another pundit made a great point that a lot of superhero post-credit scenes are just versions of one person talking to the other. We should talk. LOL.
Yeah, listen, post-credit scenes have kind of gone from something that actually gives us a little bit of foresight into what's to come and whatever to, I've said this a lot, to a on-screen version of a band doing a show in Dallas and getting on stage and going, "Hello, Dallas," because it's an easy, cheap pop,
Right?
right?
Phoenix.
They've really become
Or it's
dumbed
like
down.
promoting a fight.
Unless you're going to
Yeah.
say, Captain America.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. That was great. But this one, I would say, does a little bit of both. It's a little bit of cheap pop with just, "Hi, everybody, remember me? I'm Superman." But it also does kind of paint a picture of what we can see to come. So this one isn't that bad.
It's stirring the pot a little bit.
It stirs the
Because now
pot a
I
little
want
bit, yeah.
it. I just want it. That,
me
that's
too.
the next thing I want to see on the screen with DC.
Yeah.
So
All right, what's next?
Al Rencha says I'm seeing Black Adam 4 times opening weekend.
I mean, listen,
Well,
I would do
okay.
that too with a lot of movies. I didn't do for Black, although I am seeing it twice opening week. I'm going to see it again tonight. But yeah, when a big movie's coming out, and I will both we'll just fill up our A-list things with the one movie over the same weekend. So we will do that too. All right, what's next?
Yondir Pride says Letitia Wright, Amelia Clark, Cher, Veronica Roll.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't
What was
either.
the last one?
Share Veronica roll.
That's probably a
Is that a
deep meaning
character?
thing, and it's just going over my head. Sorry about that, Andrew. All right, what's
Is
next?
that a.
All right. Jay Master says Charlie Cox has revealed that he is training with a MMA fighter to prep for Daredevil Born Again. Begins production next year.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's done that before. He's trained with professional stunt people and trainers to be ready to fight. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of action in this thing, which I'm very excited about. Seeing him in She-Hulk was one of the highlights of She-Hulk, to be honest with you. Not just because, Daredevil's there, that makes it good. No. They actually used Daredevil really well in that show, and he had great chemistry. I'm not going to lie. I want to see more of him and Jennifer together. I really kind of do. That's the one thing they did really, really well in the show. But yeah, listen, best thing to do if you want to train for a fight is bring in MMA fighters to get that gritty kind of fight style. I think that's a really good move on their part. All right, what's next?
Ben Rayner with a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Ben, so much, man.
Black Adam or Venom? Which did you like better? Which was more exciting and well drawn out? Happy Friday, by the way.
Venom's the better movie overall. I mean, I just
Venom or Venom Let There Be Carnage?
I've never seen
Venom.
either.
If you're talking about just straight like Venom, I'm going to straight up. I loved Venom. I loved that first movie. I like it more than most people do. So whatever. But I thought that first one was wildly entertaining. Yeah. Wildly entertaining. I had a really good time with it.
But what's funny is with Venom, I liked it more, but I cheered more during Black Adam.
Yeah, Black Adam had the higher peaks. I think I'll say that. Not consistently, but like if you're saying, oh, this pop, like this great moment gets a 7 or whatever. Black Adam had a couple of 10s. Whereas I don't know that Venom had any 10s, but but Venom was more consistently good, I think. So I would actually take Venom over Black Adam. All right, what's next?
Matt Boyle says, so I have been watching all of Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor movies. They were in together, and my favorite out of them is See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
I love that movie.
It is actually still one of my favorite movie posters. It's a simple poster. It's a white poster with the two of them on the screen and one of them doing this and one of them doing this. And that movie is... It's been a beat since I've watched it, but if I remember correctly, I think that's a movie that even holds up.
Can you explain to us the premise of that movie? I've never heard of it or seen it.
The title, there's the title right there. That's
one is blind and one is deaf.
Yeah, one is blind, one's deaf. It's just look at Richard Pryor.
I love them.
Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder together. Their stuff, I would say, holds up. I'd say their stuff holds up.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, what's next?
Wayne Edwards with a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Wayne.
Hello, John. Thanks for getting me hip to Sidney Lumet's book,
Yep.
Making Movies. I must be a fan. 2 of his movies bookend my top 10, 12 Angry Men, and Failsafe.
Those are so good.
Failsafe is great.
Failsafe's more relevant now than it's been in a long time. I'll tell you that.
It's hard to find. Well, let me guess. You have it on.
I don't have to say it, do I? But
it's hard to
true.
find. It's hard to find, though.
I love that movie. Daniel
Actually, it's
Hurley.
funny, that book that he's mentioning, when I first started thinking about making my first movie, The Anniversary, it was Mark Neveldine, one of the directors of the Jason Statham Crank movies and one of the Ghost Rider movies. But I was talking to him about, I was mentioning we could do that, and he gave me that book.
It's a great
That's
book.
how I got it. It's a wonderful book. Loved it. Check it out if you get a chance. All right, what's next?
Jedediah Elias. 2 major firsts for me this weekend. Seeing Coraline for the first time at a drive-in theater. Nice. Can't wait. Also, getting an early screener of Wendell and Wild tomorrow. Good time to be a Henry Selick fan.
Yeah.
That
I'm
looks
not
phenomenal.
familiar with Wendell and
That's
Wild.
his new movie that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, it's Coraline-esque. I believe Jordan Peele is the producer.
Yeah, I think
Really?
so. Yeah.
I must be thinking of something else. I don't even recall that. Coraline that's a fun one.
Based on
like
Neil
that.
Gaiman's book.
Yeah. All right, have fun at both of those, man. All right, what's next?
Harvs K says, Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm 6 episodes into Netflix The Midnight Club, and it's another winner from Mike Flanagan. Those who enjoyed Haunting of Hill House, yes, and Midnight Mass will find much to like here.
You know what? It's funny. Lou and I were talking before the show started about being behind on a lot of things. I have still not watched Midnight Mass. And everybody, without exception, has told me it's fantastic.
It's really good.
And that's one that I have to have high on my list to go see that. This new one hasn't really looked all that appealing to me, but this is the first person I've heard write in and talk about it, and they're saying it's good. Have you watched any of it yet?
I haven't at all.
No, not Midnight Mass, no.
Not the Midnight Mass either?
Haunting, yes.
Haunting, yeah. My wife loved that one. All right, what's next?
Parth Trevetti says, is Black Adam worth seeing on the big screen?
I think so. Yeah, listen again. It's a terrible movie. That's a lot of fun. I mean, honestly, if you're going to see it at all, I think the big screen is where you got to see it to appreciate like the big action, the hugeness of Dwayne Johnson on screen. All the things that make this movie worth watching are better on a big screen.
There's a lot of Sturm and Drang in it. I mean, there's the action scenes like Hawkman fighting. Well, Hawkman fighting is fun, like you pointed out. And the action scenes, they're big and loud.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
they're big and loud.
There's a good sound mixer. I like the music. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a fun
But
film.
like you said, it's not good.
Yeah, it's so weird. I have never this enthusiastically would tell people you should go see this. It's really that good? Oh no, but you really should see it because I think you're gonna have a good time. So it's a dichotomy of a film that way. All right, what's next?
Victor 5001 says, finished. Welcome to Wrexham. Glad we got a season 2.
So Ann and I we've been falling behind on it. We sat down and watched, I think, episode 8 yesterday. And I think that we're behind about 3. This show is so good. It's one of those things because, Ryan Reynolds is like one of the sponsors of our show. So we weren't even going to talk about it because I don't want people to think, just because, but the show is so good. It's heartwarming. It's wonderful. The one that we watched last night, for those of you keeping up with it, was the one where Rob and Ryan come to the UK for the first time to watch their team play. And it's an away game. So they're in the other team's stadium and their team is losing. Wrexham is losing. And the whole stadium is singing a song together in unison that you can clearly tell they practiced because the whole audience was singing, Ryan Reynolds, you bought the wrong club. Blah. I'm like, oh my God. And just seeing like him and Rob McElhenney together is kind of like, it's charming. It's warm. They make the story human. If you guys haven't started watching Welcome to Wrexham, you totally should. It'll make your heart smile. I love it. All right. What's next?
Sebas React says, who else teared up seeing the man in blue make his return? Just me and Ray?
Yeah, it's me and him.
I'll tell you what, I saw the post-credit scene before seeing the movie, but it didn't ruin a thing. Like I had seen it already on my computer screen. Already saw it. Did not take 1 ounce away from me seeing Henry come through that smoke and in that costume and speaking those words. Like my heart filled with joy. I was so happy. It's great. It's great. You know what it reminds me of?
Henry. Welcome back, baby.
Here's what it reminds me of. Filter between brain and mouth engaged. Not going to say what I was going to say. But okay, what's next? Let's move on.
It was like when I went away for a long time and you rehired me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's all about bringing back Jonathan. All right, what's next?
Bond Presents says, I saw the Banshees of Inisherin last night. All I'll say is I believe the hype, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
This movie, like the last I checked, Taylor, can you check the Rotten Tomatoes rating? Because this was the first movie in ages. I can't remember. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm saying I can't remember. I can't remember the last time I saw a movie that had over 80 reviews that still held 100%.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's still holding 100%.
Right now, it's 121 reviews at 99%.
So that means one negative review came out of the 121. I'm hearing nothing but bonkers things. But listen, this is the same team that brought us in Bruges.
Yep.
And this is Brendan Gleeson.
And 3 billboards.
And 3 not the same actors,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But I cannot wait to watch this. I'm so excited about it. All right, what's next?
Swirly Bird says, Lauren Balfe has become one of my favorite composers. Mission Impossible Fallout, Maverick, Black Widow, and now Black Adam. He's killing it.
That's a name that I didn't even recognize 2 years ago, but they've done a couple of things lately that has really stood out. What are your thoughts?
I think he's a disciple of Hans Zimmer too.
Oh, really?
I think so. And it doesn't surprise me.
Actually, now that you mentioned Hans Zimmer, I meant to share this with people. I can't I can't pull up a picture of it right now because I don't have it available to me. But Ann and I, Thursday night, no, that would have been 2 nights ago. So Wednesday night, Ann and I went to this concert that it was a string quartet, these 4 women string quartet. And the lead of it is Hans Zimmer's lead violinist. And so they did this string quartet concert in Glendale the other night, just playing the music of Hans Zimmer.
Wow.
And it was wonderful. I mean, not as good as John Williams with a 40-piece orchestra, but for a 4-piece quartet, it was a lot of fun.
Wow, that's cool.
And she told a lot of very cool Hans Zimmer stories and everything too. So, and they even played the Wonder Woman theme with just 4 pieces, just 4 instruments. They played it and it was great. It's really, really good. All right, sorry about that. What's next?
Okay, Vadar, voice will live on. Oh, Super Mario sound bites are annoying. Normal speak, fine.
I'm not quite sure what that means.
Well, I think that Chris Pratt doing the voice of Mario in the game, if it was...
Oh, you mean in the movie?
Well, yeah, in the movie, if it was like the game, it would be annoying. Like,
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Both things are true. I did not like what I heard out of Chris Pratt for this. That being said, we literally heard 9 words.
yeah.
We heard 2 sentences.
The thing about Chris Pratt is he's a really good mimic. Like he can do as a voiceover artist. I think he can do a lot of stuff. And I'm curious to hear, like you'd pointed out, we only heard a few lines dialogue.
Yeah, I think people are way overreacting.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as somebody who also did not like the voice.
And we saw that
we're
trailer.
overreacting. Yeah, they played the
On the
trailer
big screen, baby.
before,
okay.
before Black Adam. And seeing it on the big screen was a lot of fun. But but at the same time, do I want a whole movie of let's go, Mario the best? Do I
that
really
Namor?
want to hear a whole movie of that? And I really don't. But I hope they come up with something interesting. All right, is that it?
That's it.
And guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those super chats. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Don't forget, Rob and I will be back a little bit later today for an open mic episode. Make sure you come back and join us. I'll be right around 3 o'clock Los Angeles time, 6 p.m. New York time. We hope to see you there. So guys, that'll do it. We hope you have a fabulous weekend filled with fun and relaxation, prepping you for another week of glorious victory next week, which of course the John Campea Show will return then. So for everybody in the room, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Joining you guys in the live chat has been Ray Ora. Producer of the show, Jonathan Voico, with Taylor in the background there. And of course, wrapping up her first week with us, Alu Moana. Alu, thank you so much. It was a good first week. We'll see you back again on Monday. And I, of course, am John Campea. That'll do it for now, guys. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.